Hello and welcome to this week's Scriptcase by Jamie video. My name is Jamie and today we are checking out the latest update to Scriptcase, the version 9.13. And yes, we are going to check this out, have a little review, see what we think of it, as well as see how we can apply some of these new features and functionalities to our applications. So let's check out here the Scriptcase website first of all, just so we can see what was actually included. So here we have the Scriptcase 9.13, even more interactive and flexible dashboards. So we have here a whole new dashboard that we can then play around with and add some new blocks and features into, which is quite nice. We're going to check that out. We have also a Gantt chart, or should I say the Gantt chart was added previously, but now it's an update to the Gantt chart. Better theming, looking much sexier than previously. Anyway, with that we also have a whole new template, the inventory management system. Now I have checked that out already and it is pretty straightforward, but it does provide you the base functionalities of such a platform. So as it says here, the dashboard is now more interactive as well as flexible. It turns our data into dynamic, organized panels with new features that make information analysis as well as presentation easier. So you can see that here and it does look quite nice, and we are going to have a quick look at that. Now we have here also the Gantt chart. So with the Gantt chart, of course, you do need to have a specific database or data available to have it displayed so beautifully. I don't know if I'm going to have that today, but we are going to have a quick look at how we can apply that and add that into our application at least. So we have then also the inventory management system. So we will have a quick check that out. We will check that out quickly and see what it's about and, well, see if it's any good. Now, you may remember that I had notified previously within one of the updates that Scriptcase was adding AI. And funny enough, I did have a chat with Marcia afterwards and she was telling me, no, it's not, but it is being worked on. Which is funny because the email said it was coming. But anyway, it says here it is coming next, and there is going to be the AI assistant built into Scriptcase. And I know why it's taking a little longer, because of course everyone is going to prompt differently. So I will say XYZ and you will say ABC, and just like that we would both maybe want the same result, but we would end up with something different, and we don't want that happening now, do we? So okay, that is pretty important, and that is something really worth waiting for. I think it could be very interesting. Now I do hope the AI functionality doesn't only create templates and applications for you, but then also maybe creates the database for you as well, which would be pretty hardcore, right? And essentially, it would create then the entire platform for you. So we'll see how that goes. For now, let's of course dive into Scriptcase. And I see here already that I am running the latest version 9.13, but there is also a new version released already. So I am a week and a half late in with this video, so you've had it for a few days already, and with that there is also already an update. So I'll check that out very quickly here. Also here we have the change log, and that is then the 9.13.002. so we have now added support for global variables within the link application for the responsive menu items. Okay, that's quite nice. We can now add global variables within the responsive menus, which is something I think a lot of us have been wanting for a while. We also have visual improvements in the autosave. Nothing special, just makes Scriptcase look a little nicer when it's doing things, saving. And we have some fixes here already because, yeah, as we know, sometimes something new comes out and there is always something which breaks. Okay, so let's dive into Scriptcase then, and what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to open up here the grid sales, which I have been using for the macro day, okay? And we see here the Gantt chart is also available here with a little question mark. I don't know why the question mark there. I think that's meant to be an exclamation mark because, well, I don't know. Maybe it is a question. Who knows? I don't know. Okay, so with that, we can enable the Gantt chart to start or be the initial application that we then view when we open the grid application. Now we have Gantt available here on the left-hand menu. So if I just open that up, and then here I can apply a field label. So let me add here maybe the store. And you see I've already gone and played with this, and it didn't actually save anything because I removed all of the options and it didn't like it. Okay, so now I've just gone ahead here and added a date as the start date because these are the fields I have. Now ideally you do have the start date, end date, planned start date, planned end date, the percentage completed, the resource, a previous task, the task ID, as well as the milestone date. So these are fields that you will want within your database for the display of the Gantt chart, or should I say the full display, because as you're going to see, even with date everywhere, which is then essentially the start date, we can still run the Gantt chart and I'm still able to show it to you. So with these fields all defined, we can apply the regional settings, we can apply then the percent complete, so I'll just add sales in there. I know it's not the percentage. We have resources in here, also the previous task, as well as then the task ID and milestone date. So by default, these will all be blank like so, okay? And then you will of course want to come in here and then specify what it is, or specify your fields essentially. So with that, if I just go ahead and run, we are going to have no change here to my grid application. And that is because I haven't yet added the Gantt chart to the grid. I have configured it, but I have not yet added it. Okay, so that's very important to note. So if I come back here into my grid application, come here then to the toolbar, and if I come here to the right hand side, and then here on the left, I can then add here the Gantt chart in here, so like so. I'll click save. And now what I'm going to do first of all is come back here to the grid modules, and now the Gantt chart is now available to start as the main or initial application when I start the application. So if I go run now, it will now give me the Gantt chart button up here in my toolbar. I can click that and it will open the Gantt chart as I have it configured. Now, if I then come back to the grid modules, select the Gantt chart to start with, and run the grid application again, it will not start as grid, it will in fact start as the Gantt chart, which is something we may want in various occasions. So as you see, the fields I have here, they're not amazing, and showing off the Gantt chart is not really the best either, but that's not the idea, okay? So if you want a sexy Gantt chart, maybe in another video. For now, really just to show you what this is about, because I think I'm actually liking the Gantt chart with the new features. It's looking very, very nice. So let's come back in here again. And I'll note that we can change here the theme of the Gantt chart. So we can just select any other theme in here. We can also select the chart position, whether it's on the left or the right or displayed in the center, however you please. We also have extra buttons here so we can allow the user to customize the Gantt theme. We can also choose the header periods, as well as display the semester and quarter, as well as the year and month, or either of those that we want. So we can just remove maybe the year and month if we didn't want those, and just have semester and quarter. So if I just go ahead and run that again, we will then see the difference again, and there we have straight away our Gantt chart with our theme selection up here, as well as then the periods that we can then select as well. So if we only want to view semester or the quarter or weekly or monthly, we can apply those just by simply making adjustments here within the chart, and then even giving that functionality to the end user so they can just come here and change the periods that are then displayed. So maybe they don't want semester, quarter and month, they just want yearly, and that is then what they would have displayed there. So that is looking pretty awesome. I definitely do like that we can change the theme for this now, and that is then applied within our application, and that can then match our other applications, which is pretty damn important, right? The period functionality is quite nice as well, so that you can change the period on the fly. So with the Gantt chart, we then also have changes to the dashboard. So what I'll do then is I have here dashboard 98 within my samples here. And we see here I have a couple little boxes in here that I've just thrown in here already for probably a previous video or some testing. And if I go ahead and run that, there we have then our widget for our applications and so forth, as well as then the new functionalities displayed at the top here. Now, I'm not able to close that now for some reason. Very nice. Okay, so with that, let's make some adjustments here and check out these new functionalities. So we have here, first of all, the add link widget, the add index widget, as well as the new add divider widget. So I will add the divider first of all, and that will then allow me to customize here the color of the divider. I'll say here sample div, and we can add change the font, subtitle, we can add in there also, and we can also have a horizontal line for section breaks. So I will save that, and then what I'll do, I will leave that here within this section here, and I'm going to just expand that all the way so that is full width and have that here in the center. Now at the top here I already have 2 extra widgets. I'm going to delete those and add a new index widget, and the index widget is where we now have the new functionality. As you see here, lots of new little icons. So we have here first of all the index field. So here I can display a summarization or a simple card, which is quite nice. We can add a title in here, so add sample again. We can indicate the connection, and then we can also add our table. Now, I will tell you there is a super funky, awesome feature that I really do love here, and that is the fact that we don't even need to choose that no more. We can just leave the connection and just have a select command. Now, I lied there actually, because you will want to define the connection still, okay? So you will need to define the connection, and then with the select command, because within the select command we don't define any connection, it is just a select. We can then add a custom select command in here and then customize what is then displayed. The alternative is the old way, and we choose here then our fields, for instance, that we have here. So let's go then with what do we have here? Products. We have then a period field, which there is none. So let's choose then maybe the sales table. There we have a date field, a metric field. So let's go with quantity sold and then sum. And then we have here the options for the display of percentages, difference of values. So here I'll go value. And then we have the period function. So we can choose here the full year, month, day, week, day, year and month, year and semester, and so forth. So I'll choose that. And then we also have the display values. So of both periods, actual period, the last period, or none at all. So I'll choose none. And then, as I said, the alternative method of using the select command here, well, it negates this. We just add our command in there from our MySQL table or our database table. And then just like that, we have then already our widget ready. So I'm going to drag that here above my divider, but I'm not finished yet. So I'm going to edit it further. So I've just added the basic functionality in there. So the table that we are connecting to and so forth. Now we have then here also the option to adjust the layout. Now some of these features are still the same as they were previous. Now we do have icons here. Now I've got to say I really do wish Font Awesome icons are there, and they are. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? We can now have Font Awesome icons within these widgets as well, which I think is really cool. Okay, so let me go here, user. Let me just choose one of these. We have then the font size of this icon, the font color. We can also use a backdrop with Font Awesome, the size, the backdrop radius, and so forth. So we can really customize the view of this icon quite nicely on this new block. We have then also chart functionality. So here I will say, give me a line chart, 90% width, height of 50 pixels, I guess that is, and a color. Now the other new options are then the fonts and colors. Now this is pretty much the same as it was before, just I think now we have here the index background as well as the border color. So these two features are new. All of these others, you probably remember those from the previous dashboard. So we can adjust those as much as we want to. We can save that and then just go ahead and run the dashboard application. And then just like that, we have a lovely little graph in here with a font awesome icon, some text, as well as then the values displayed in here. And here, of course, is my divider, which, well, it's what it is. Okay, so let me come in here and we can, of course, remove the display of a horizontal line for section breaks. I don't think that makes any difference. I'll add a subtitle in here, my subtitle, and let's save that again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease the size of that and then run that again. And then we should have here our divider. Now note there is my text, and of course the text is typically black, so maybe I would want to adjust then the text color in here also, which I can't, it seems. We have a font title, and with the font title we can then change the font itself, the font size, as well as the font color. So here I'll change that to a lighter color. Okay, so don't get confused that everything's in here, the title font, that is no color field there and so forth. It's within the font section here. So let me adjust that here also for the subtitle, and let's go for impact. Font size, let's make that much larger and give that, say, a yellowish color. There we go. That'll do. And the font style, we want that as bold. Now, if I go ahead and save that and run that again, our divider here will look much better, should I say? Or maybe not. That is, of course, down to you. So just like that, we have new functionalities within our dashboard here, and I actually want to go ahead and add another index widget in here because I really do like these cards. So we have here the summarization function as well. So I'm going to add that in here. I will choose the table, as well as then let's go with sales 2 this time. And then here the date, metric field, let's go with the quantity sold, sum, percentage, let's go with, yes, percentage difference, we'll keep that. Period function for the year and quarter, and we want to display both periods. Now we have here the option also to hide the trending icon, which is kind of nice, so you can hide the icons from there. So I'm going to add in here the sales 2, and we have a legend here that we can include. This is my legend of info, basically. And just like that, we can then come to the layout. I'll say left and top. And we'll add a font awesome icon in here again. And let me go for another one of these. And we have then the font size. So let me increase that to 32. I'm also going to change the color of this icon. There we go, nice red. We have the background here. So we do want a backdrop. But then here, let's go 12. Background radius 4. And then we have a background color, which I'll then do here like the purpley, pinky, yeah, color. Okay, so just like that, we have then our layout applied. Let's also add a chart in there. So here I'll add a column chart, 90% width again. I'll leave the height, but here I will apply a different color in here and go orange and save that. Okay, so let me just place that up here, and I'm going to make that full width. And then go ahead and run the dashboard application again. And just like that, we have a new icon with our sales data, as well as here the chart displaying our information. Now note, I've made the text and so forth much larger. So in this case, maybe you will want to increase the size of that. Let's check that out. There we go. So there you go. The chart is still displayed at the bottom. So really that didn't really make any difference at all. In many cases then I guess you would maybe want to adjust the sizes a little more and make changes there so that everything fits nicely. But I think you get the idea. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty awesome. And then just like that, you can go ahead and create new widget containers with graphs and data displayed dynamically within this pretty awesome new dashboard. Now, the only thing missing here is really our application here for the widget. So I will add a link in here, and let me go then here for, say, the calendar application. I will add the calendar in there, go run, and that would then be essentially a complete dashboard, pretty much ready to go. Okay, with some tweaks here and there for the colors and data and so forth, but otherwise, That is pretty hardcore. I'm really loving it. I am really, really loving that. Okay, so with that, we have then the dashboard, we have the Gantt chart. We also then have, for sure, other new features hidden away there in Scriptcase because they're always adding new features and functionalities. But most importantly, we have a whole new project. Now, I did generate that the other day, and that is right here, the inventory project. So let me go ahead and run that. So I'll run that here with the M login, and that gives us then the login page for this new inventory management system. And if you don't know how to create it, there's plenty of videos on how to use the templates and how to create them. Just go ahead, watch one of those videos. Okay, so our password here is admin and admin123 here, and we can sign in. Now, that should be 123. 123. It's a full stop there as well. Don't forget the full stop for the password here. There's a full stop there. And then we also have the language options up here. I do like that we have flags now. I hope that is also added within then the pages. Okay, so with that, we have then our inventory management system, and we have a full-fledged or complete dashboard display here, which is why I didn't go and, make a much nicer one on the other side. So we have one here. We can see really what this new dashboard looks like, and it's pretty awesome, right? And we have then also the Gantt chart displayed in here, as well as other charts for these other displays, which is really nice. Okay, so we have then our inventory, or my inventory. And you can see then the inventory that you have available, the stock levels and so forth. You can add new inventory in here. Now, in general, when you do, if you do use these applications, do make sure you make adjustments. Change the button here to say add new inventory or add inventory, not just new. And maybe full width and squeeze it in there, make it look beautiful, because right now, well, I'm not such a fan of these default views. Okay, so then we have our products and items, prices lists, we have categories in here, we have offers, variants, as well as bundles for our products. So for the items, we see all of our items with the product name, brand, category, base price. We have then also price lists here, and there we have one of these nice grid features where we can combine the data into one field. And we have then also the categories, which is pretty straightforward. The offers, also very straightforward. The variants, as well as then also the bundles. Now, all of those are then combined on some of the other views that we have here. For instance, here the prices list, as well as then the my inventory. Okay, so for in and out operations, we have purchases for vendors, inbound orders, also sales, customers, outbound orders, transactions, we have reports, we can adjust the inventory, we also have tracking, so we can search for an order. So it's not really tracking, is it? It's just order search. Okay, so that's what we have there. We can add tracking in there, of course. That is a functionality you could add in here. We have then also the various settings options for the warehouses, so we can define where the warehouses are, the order status points, so whatever the statuses are, as well as then the transaction types, and of course the default security. So if you are in need of an inventory system which then maybe manages items, products, and in and out services, then this is definitely a nice little platform for you to start with and then customize further according to your own needs. Now, I think this is pretty nice. I do like some of the new features and so forth. And well, I'm looking forward to the AI integration into Scriptcase. And of course, don't forget, if you are using this latest version, do upgrade to the latest version. So the new update, do apply it, okay? Because that way, any issues with that main release, you will be able to solve very easily. Okay, so with that, I hope you have enjoyed this mini little review of this Scriptcase update, even though it's not complete, of course, because there's no AI there, but it's always complete in some shape or form, and I think it's pretty awesome. I hope you do like it as well. I'm sure you do, and if you don't, well, let me know down in the comments. What are you missing? What are you wanting? What are you hating? What are you loving? Do you like the new features? Do you love them? Do you think they're awesome? Or do you hate them? Detest? Gross? Disgusting? Whatever it is, let me know down in the comments. And of course, that gets passed on to Netmake. Netmake knows, they watch these videos as well. So anything you say down below, well, they'll have a very good idea that maybe you didn't like this inventory system, which would be a shame because, come on, it looks pretty nice. It's very nice. I think straightforward. You have the base functionalities there. The new chart and dashboards, they're awesome. They're awesome. The Gantt chart, right? As well as then the dashboard. I think that's very, very nice and much needed. So there are, of course, many other features that we are always wanting in Scriptcase. Again, let me know down in the comments what those are. And then, of course, let's see what can happen. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And until the next video here on Scriptcase by Jamie.